Paige Beckers as a player they would most like to start a franchise with. What's your reaction to that?
Well, all those GMs probably going to get fired because this is a money business, and the money is about Caitlin Clark, who is the player who has made, never in the history of the WNBA have we had a player force teams to get into larger arenas. I've never seen that happen. And so if you're the GM, you're obviously supposed to be bringing in money. That's revenue.
Right.
I'm going with Caitlin Clark.
On May 14th, 2026, one of the most legendary figures in women's basketball appeared on ESPN's First Take and delivered a message that was straightforward and unapologetic. She spoke honestly. After seeing the results of a GM survey that stirred major debate across the sports world, she looked directly into the camera and said that the general managers who selected Paige Beckers over Caitlin Clark as the player to build a franchise around will probably lose their jobs. Her point was not that Beckers lacks talent or that the voting process was unfair. The real issue, she explained, is that in professional sports in 2026, failing to recognize the most marketable and impactful player in your league is the kind of mistake that can quickly come back to haunt an organization.
GMs came and saw Paige Becker turn a 9-win team into a 10-win team and said, yeah, we'll take her over Caitlin Clark. What? Hey, the WNBA just don't like Caitlin. I get it. This is okay. I get it. She came over here and she made y'all money. More money than y'all ever seen before. But Paige Beckers came to the Dallas Wings as a 9-win team and turned them into a 10-win team. And the GM said, yeah, that's the one. And Caitlin Clark came into a team that won 13 games and turned them into a 20-win team. And they started off like 2-10 or 3-10 to start the season. And she was the biggest part of that team.
The statistic that sparked the entire controversy was this. The WNBA's yearly GM survey asked a question that may sound straightforward, but actually carries major implications. If you were building a franchise from scratch today and had the chance to choose any player in the league, who would you take? Paige Beckers finished first with 33% of the votes, while Caitlin Clark received only 20%. That difference alone was enough to fuel intense discussion across the basketball world, but the figure that truly shocked people was neither 33 nor 20.
When GMs were asked the same question last year, Caitlin got a whopping 50% of votes, and Beckers, who then hadn't played a WNBA game yet, didn't get any. Even more surprising is that Chelsea Gray got 73% of votes this year. Then GMs are asked which point guard they believe is the best in the WNBA. Clark was second at 20%. Last year, Gray and Clark were tied at 50%. Granted, Caitlin was coming off an injury-plagued 2025 season and obviously has a lot to prove. But this shift in perception is...
The number that truly grabbed everyone's attention was 50, because just 1 year earlier, Caitlin Clark had dominated that very same survey with 50% of the vote. Half of the league's general managers had looked at her and confidently said she was the clear choice to build a franchise around. But in only 12 months, her support dropped by 30 percentage points, taking her from the overwhelming favorite to a distant second. As soon as those results surfaced online, the sports media world did not slowly warm up to the topic. It jumped straight into the debate at full speed.
We look at the WNBA, we know there's a lot of great players that preceded Caitlin Clark, that paved the way for the Caitlin Clarks, and they're to be respected and appreciated and all of this other stuff. But I was one of those people that felt Caitlin Clark should have been on Team USA. I was thinking about the profile of women's basketball, anything that could uplift the profile and give more notoriety and more shine to women basketball players everywhere. It would help.
Stephen A. Smith, a personality known for speaking his mind loudly and directly, did not overthink his response when the survey results were discussed on First Take. When asked whether he would choose Caitlin Clark or Paige Beckers to build a franchise around, he answered instantly. He would take Clark. There was no pause, no attempt to soften the opinion, and no carefully crafted political response. His choice was clear. The reasoning behind his answer reflected what many people who follow the business side of the league already recognize. Selecting a franchise player is about far more than talent on the court. It is also tied to revenue, marketing power, ticket demand, and the ability to pack arenas with fans. When viewed from that perspective, the discussion becomes far less complicated and the choice appears much more obvious. Smith understood that immediately, and the guests sitting across from him seemed to recognize it as well.
She talked business and sense. She talked dollar signs. She said, y'all know we're in a money-making business, right? Y'all know we're in a industry that people want to get paid in, right? You know who's going to help you guys get paid the most? You know who's going to pack the arenas the most? You know who's going to get you the most sponsorship deals, the most advertisement deals, the most exposure, the most jersey sales, the most merchandise? Do you know who's going to do that for you guys? It ain't Pete.
Lisa Leslie backed up her argument with facts, and the strongest point she raised was also the easiest to understand. She explained calmly and directly that Caitlin Clark is the only player in WNBA history who has caused opposing teams to relocate their home games to larger arenas because of overwhelming fan demand to see her play. Not just the only player of this era or the past few seasons, but the only player across the league's entire 30-year existence. Teams have literally needed bigger venues because their normal arenas could not fit all the fans hoping to attend Clark's games. That reality carries enormous meaning for any franchise. It affects ticket revenue, sponsorship opportunities, local media attention, merchandise sales, and every other financial factor tied to the success of a professional sports organization. Leslie did not need complicated statistics or detailed charts to make her case. That single fact alone was powerful enough, and once it was brought into the discussion, it became extremely difficult for anyone to dismiss the argument.
Right here, Twitter will tell you the one at the top is having a subpar season and underachieving. The bottom one is putting first team all WNBA numbers. Caitlin Clark is obliterating Paige Beckers through these first couple of games.
While the media spent days arguing over surveys, rankings, and franchise value, the two stars at the center of the discussion were busy doing what elite athletes do best, delivering an unforgettable performance on the court. On May 9th, 2026, the WNBA season opened with a matchup between the Dallas Wings and the Indiana Fever, and from the opening possession it was obvious this would not resemble a normal early season game still trying to find its pace. Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers both stepped onto the floor with remarkable intensity, focus, and competitive fire, playing as if the stakes were already enormous. Each player finished the night with 20 points, while Dallas escaped with a 107-104 victory in a hard-fought battle that came down to the closing minutes. The game was physical, emotional, and packed with momentum swings, while the atmosphere inside the arena reflected every ounce of anticipation that had surrounded the matchup for months. For anyone questioning whether the rivalry between Clark and Beckers was authentic or simply a media-created storyline, that game delivered the clearest possible response. Caitlin Clark returned from injury in the 2026 season opener and quietly reached 1,000 career points while helping draw 2.49 million viewers, making it one of the most watched regular season games in WNBA history. The matchup between Clark and Paige Beckers delivered another thrilling chapter in their growing rivalry, with Dallas narrowly defeating Indiana by 3 points. Lisa Leslie and Stephen A. Smith strongly defended Clark's value, arguing that her ability to fill arenas, attract television audiences, and grow the league makes her the clear franchise cornerstone. While some GMs voted for Beckers in the survey, many fans and analysts believed Clark's impact on the business side of the sport speaks for itself. The debate quickly exploded across social media, especially after Leslie pointed out that teams have moved games to larger arenas just to handle the demand for Clark. As the WNBA enters a new era, the Clark-Beckers rivalry is becoming one of the league's biggest storylines, with both stars pushing the sport to unprecedented popularity.